Illegal immigrant is someone who lives or works in another country when they do not have the right to do this. According to statistics from the Department of Statistics Malaysia, for the first quarter of 2020, the total population in Malaysia is 32.73 million. A total of 29.62 million of them are national residents, while another 3.12 million are non-citizen. Population includes foreign workers with valid work permits, spouses of local citizens, and other individuals with valid documentation. How this issue can be a challenge to our country? Respect our country. For example, when the Negaraku song is sung, they deliberately do not want to stand up straight and disparage the singing of the Negaraku song. Moreover, fierce competition in the employment sector causes local people difficult to get an employment. This is because the wages of foreign workers is cheaper than local workers. This causes some employers in this country to open many job opportunities to foreign workers. So,
immigrant or worker in Malaysia managed by Ministry of Home Affairs Immigration Department. According to research, Malaysia now has one of the highest numbers of foreigner workers ever recorded, which is 3.4 million or 10% of 34 million population. Based on demographic statistics report by the Malaysia Statistics Department, there was an increase of 600,000 foreigners in just 1 year. Ministry of Home Affairs Immigration Department, they overlook or accidentally avoid the issue of foreigner worker. As you can see, most employers are big boss in Malaysia just to pay foreigners to work in their companies. The dumping of foreigner workers can cause many negative effects on the country. The Minister of Public Works, Datuk Sri Alexander Lantalinggi, has met with the Minister of Home Affairs, Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail, and the Minister of Human Resources, Steven Sims, and they have said that in the construction sector, KKR, together with the Construction Industry Development Board, CIDB, and the Centre Pertukaran Pekerja Binaan Malaysia, CLAB, reports the status of the whitewashing of foreigner workers working as construction worker, which is almost 50% scope long-term and short-term planned by Ministry of Home Affairs, Immigration Department. For the long-term, submission for visa with reference (VDR) by employer. Every employer who plans to hire foreign workers should apply for a visa with reference (VDR) from the Foreign Workers Division, Immigration Department of Malaysia, and the VDR submission must be made online through the website of FWCMS. The validity dates of the temporary work visa pass (PLKS) for foreign workers is for 12 months. Extra time of the validity period of PLKS can be applied for 3 months before the end date of PLKS. For the short term, the Ministry of Home Affairs Immigration Department held a meeting relating authorities that could make it easier for us to arrest illegal immigrant or foreigner who work without a visit pass. This is
For managing the issue of party. First, enforcement operation. Malaysia authority have conducted multiple large-scale operations to apprehend and deport party. This operation often focus on workplace, construction site, and immigration checkpoint. Next is regularization program. This most well-known program in recent years was the legalization program, which allow undocumented migrants to apply for work permits and legal status under certain conditions. This program are aimed to reducing the number of parties while addressing labor's shortage in certain sector. Other than that is through amnesty schemes. The government has periodically implemented amnesty program where undocumented migrants are given a window to voluntarily leave the country without facing punishment. These programs are meant to reduce overcrowding in detention center and encourage compliance among migrants. Furthermore, through workforce dependency and management, Malaysia has a significant reliance on foreigner labor, especially in sectors like construction, AGN culture, and manufacturing. The government has tried to balance the legal entry of foreigner workers while preventing illegal immigration by issuing work permits and enforcing strict labor law. Additionally, through improvement of border control and surveillance, Malaysia has invested to strengthen its border security through technologies such as biometric system for immigration tracking. The aim is to prevent illegal entry and exit and to monitor the movement of foreigner nationals. Lastly, by public awareness and outreach, the Malaysian government has also undertaken public outreach effort to inform the public about immigration law, the right of foreigner workers, and the consequences of hiring or employing the undocumented migrant.
Operation Survey and Border, which prevented the entry of unlicensed migrants to the country in September 2013. Human smuggling syndicate have tried to target New Zealand as a new destination country to maritime routes using Malaysia and Indonesia as a transit countries. Next, by air. Smuggling to the air became the choice of syndicates in carrying out mass smuggling activities of Sri Lankan citizens and the people of Republic of China to third countries. The syndicate find that the route is the safest and the most secure. Syndicate operating modes are increasingly sophisticated and involve an international network of syndicates, as it involves several transit countries. Apart from that, the syndicate also use the sea. Syndicates have a broad network of transporters across the border of the affected countries. Syndicates are more focused on land routes using public transport such as buses and taxis, besides using vehicles such as pickup trucks and cars. Last but not least, illegal immigrants to Malaysia and third countries. These syndicates also involve neighboring countries in the process of smuggling them into third countries. Illegal migrants into Malaysia, whether directly from their home country or through the borders of Indonesia, Singapore or Thailand, and use their own genuine passport after obtaining a Malaysia social visa. The suggestion for enforcement and enhancement of TIPSOM in Malaysia. First, by strengthening the legislative mechanism. This is because the effectiveness of implementing the enforced law can be achieved by reviewing and improving the law, especially in relation to investigation, prosecution, and penalties. Next, by enhancing law enforcement actions under anti-trafficking laws, particularly labor trafficking cases. This can help by increasing the efforts to prosecute and punish public servants who benefit or engage in trafficking in person, or those who exploit trafficking victims. For example, this can increase the protection for victims in government facilities, but penalties which in active some need to be done to prove the seriousness of this trafficking crime. The plan should outline the government's strategy in curbing such crime at both domestic and international levels. Public awareness programs also need to be intensified among them to attract NGOs and private agencies in effort to combat this by the country. For example, close cooperation with Asian countries and foreign countries such as Australia, the United States, the Netherlands, the United Kingdom, and international organizations are essential to curbing such crimes and to discuss further in respect of blurring of laws protecting victims of trafficking with illegal migrants moving without legitimate documents. Last but not least, the most practical advice need to be implemented immediately by establishing a specialized agency with autonomy and full of authority in enforcing, investigating, monitoring,
Controlling is the main goal of management in organization. It is to obtain results toward the universal goals of the company. Every company and agency know how to control their problems and work to make sure that they can achieve their goals. So let's move to our slide. As you guys can see, in Malaysia, we have the Malaysian Immigration Department that manage the issue of illegal immigrant and worker in Malaysia. Immigration Department controlling them based on variety of method, including Passport Act. For example, the authority at the border between Malaysia and Thailand controlling illegal immigrants by checking their passports, identification cards, birth certification to make sure they are safe to enter the border. If the illegal immigrant hand over invalid passport, those immigrants will be counted and send them to the jail. Other than that, the department also control them based on anti-trafficking in person and the last act in anti-smuggling of a migrant act. There is one case in the 8th October 2024. The Marine Police Force BPM recorded a total of 1,336 cases of smuggling of raw materials like cooking oil, diesel, and flour, with the value of seizures estimated at 193 ringgit and 40 million from 2022 to September 2024 nationwide. Those who are involved in smuggling will be punished with the imprisonment. For example, how Malaysian Immigration Department controlling the issue of illegal immigrant and worker in Malaysia. First issue of illegal immigrant and worker in Malaysia. Firstly, in Malaysia, it has a lot of operations that will be handled by Immigration Department. For example, arrest who is guilty or attempt in crimes, investigates any unsolved cases, and managing the deportation and repatriation of detainees. Other than that, on 17 November 2024, extraordinary reported of 41,073 illegal immigrants were arrested through 70,745 enforcement. The operation are functioned because the authorities could catch the illegal immigrants who commit various offences that could ruin our country. The government has to ensure that the national security is prioritized by carrying out continuous enforcement operation as well as preventive measures to prevent illegal immigrants happening in our country again. Next, in Malaysia, Immigration Department has organized a amnesty program aimed at legalizing illegal immigrants and encouraging them to either regularize their stay or voluntarily leave the country without facing penalties. One notable example of such program is the Voluntary Deportation Program, which is a program pengampungan that have been implemented multiple times. The Immigration Department has to organize a restoration to stop illegal immigrants from entering Malaysia's border. The most of the labor in Malaysia are illegal immigrants and they should have received a visa, passport, travel document from government to them. The Immigration Department should be conscious to their employers to take their job seriously and they should have an additional requirement such as cover letter, business license, and permit before they hire illegal immigrants to work with them.
To sum up, of the laws by the legislature. Undenied, no one's above the law. Even according to Aristotle, law is a sort of order which provides a comprehensive framework of rules and institutions which illegal immigrants and workers are constitute. This department strengthened its jurisdiction through reinforce the existence of acts made by the government, such as Anti-Trafficking in Persons and Anti-Smuggling of Migrants Act at IPSM, Passport Act 1966, and Immigration Regulation 1963. However, even Immigration Department have laws as their guidelines. Sometimes they got weakness in handling the issues of illegal immigrants and workers in Malaysia, cases which is corruption that driven by individual laws. For example, 3 senior immigration officers and a business owner have been detained on suspicion of corruption and money laundering activities linked to the misuse of foreign visa applications. The officers, including a woman who suspected of having accepted 1.2 million in bribes. Luckily, to reduce the impact, the department got the opportunity to manage the issue by making an international cooperation which involved many eyes and parties. For example, Home Affairs Minister Datuk Seri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail has said that Malaysia and Thailand agreed to increase cooperation to fight cross-border crime and human trafficking. However, Malaysia might have threats from the outsider when an abusive detention of migrants or refugees exists. The Malaysian government called detaining about 12,000 migrants and refugees, including 1,400 children, in conditions that put them at serious risk of physical abuse and psychological harm. This situation shows that Malaysia degrading an abusive immigration detention system, which treats migrants and refugees as criminals, denies them their rights to liberty, health, and due process. At the end, one of the recommendations of how the immigration department should manage the issues is by making heavier punishment and penalty to those illegal immigrants entering our country by emulate the system in Hungary. For